All right, geometry, we are moving on to section 2, which is talking about parallelograms. This is just another type of polygon, but more specifically, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral, which means it has 4 sides, but it's a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Okay, so both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So I'm just going to draw myself a parallelogram here. Okay, so that's a parallelogram because this side and this side are parallel, this side and this side are parallel. Okay, so with parallelograms, we have not only that they're parallel, but some other properties about it. Okay, so just going to kind of show you each of them. Another thing you know about opposite sides are that they're congruent. Opposite sides are congruent, so this side and this side are congruent. This side and this side are congruent. Okay, number 2, the second property says that opposite angles are also congruent. Opposite angles, so this angle and this angle are congruent, as well as this angle and this angle are congruent. Okay. Property number 3 says consecutive angles. Okay, so this is a term we got to think about probably, but consecutive angles are supplementary. Okay, so remember, consecutive angles are the ones next to each other. So angle 1 and angle 2 are consecutive. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. That goes for angle 3 and angle 4 as well. Angle 3 plus angle 4 add up to 180. Okay, those are supplementary. Or could be 2 and 3 are supplementary, 1 and 4 are supplementary. Okay, those are all consecutive to each other because they're next to each other. And then the last one, the last property says that the diagonals bisect each other. Okay, so I'm just going to draw you a little picture here. The diagonals bisect each other, meaning if I have a parallelogram, so here's my, that's a little too long. So here's my parallelogram. The diagonals are the lines going from vertex to vertex across the way. So those bisect each other, meaning they split each other in half. So those 2 parts are congruent, those 2 parts are congruent. Okay? So those are 4 properties that we're going to need to kind of get used to. But right now, just use the notes here as you go through these different examples. Okay, so let's do some of these. So number 1 says this is 15 and this is 68 and this is 8. So right now I don't even need to really pay attention to any of this. All I really need to do right now is go ahead and look at opposite sides. So this is 8 and this is 15 because opposite sides are congruent. Same thing here, 68 and 68. Those are the same. And if I know those are 68, then I also know that 68 is supplementary to this angle. So if that's 68, that makes this 112 degrees. And this 112 degrees as well. Okay, so let's see if we can answer these. AD is on this side here, so that's 8. DC is the bottom, so that's 15. Angle A we said was 112. Angle B is 68. Angle C is 112 as well. Okay, and that's it. So you just think about opposite sides, angles, consecutive angles being supplementary. Everything else should take care of itself. So same thing here. This is a parallelogram, so 18 there means 18's on the other side. So ST. 27 there, that means 27's here. So TU or UT is 27. Okay, so now look at what we have here. 7, that means this is also 7. So if VU is 7, then VS is also 7. And then VT, it says RT, the whole thing, is 30. So this whole thing here is 30, which means it's, if you split it in half, it would be 15 and 15. So VT would be 15. All right. And we're going to look at one more here on the front page and then talk about the back. We are going to cross out a couple of these, but I'll show you which ones. But something you can do here is label as you go. So XY is 15, which since this is a parallelogram, the opposite is also 15. And then WX is 22 up here, which makes the bottom 22. And then ZX is this whole thing. And remember, if the diagonals are in a parallelogram, they bisect each other, which if that's 32, that makes this 16 and 16. And same thing here. WT is 10, which makes this other part of the diagonal 10. Okay. And then some angle things we're talking is WZY. WZY is this whole thing, which is 62, and that makes this whole thing 62. All right, and then we'll talk about the other kinds of angles later, but not today. All right, so let's answer what we can. ZW is the left side here, so we already said that was 15. ZY is 22 on the bottom. And then TX is this part of the diagonal, which is 16, 32 divided by 2. WY was this whole diagonal there, 10 plus 10 is 20. And then let's see what angles we can say. TZY. TZY would be part of that angle, so we'll not talk about that right now. XYZ, again, yeah, we'll talk about angles with diagonals later, okay? So let's go to the back side here and look at number 7. So number 7, we're given this is 9x minus 25, this is 5x plus 1. So again, opposite sides are congruent, so that means those two are equal to each other. So all I have to do there is set 9x minus 25 equals 5x plus 7. And so I go ahead and subtract 5x to the other side to get x on one side. Get 4x minus 25 equals 7. And then I add 25 to both sides to get 4x equals 32. Divide by 4, and I get x equals 8. And all I had to do was solve for x, so I don't have to plug it back in or anything. We're done. All right. So same thing on something like number 9. Check what we have. TV. Okay, TV is 74, the whole thing, which makes each part half of that. So that'd be 37 and 37. Okay, if the whole thing's 74, that's 37 and 37. WV is 4x plus 1, so that's just this part is 4x plus 1. So what we can do is say 4x plus 1 equals 37. Or you could also say 4x plus 1 plus 4x plus 1 equals 74, and that would work too. Okay. Either way, we're going to get the same answer. Subtract 1, get 4x equals 36. Divide by 4, x equals 9. Solve for x. We didn't have to do anything else. Okay, so same thing here. Look at this. I've got these two angles are opposite, which means they're equal. We're looking for angle B though. So what we're going to have to do is find x, plug it into one of these to find it, and then remember what these are. They're consecutive, so this and this are supplementary. Okay, so I'm going to have to subtract it from 180. But let's find x first. 6x minus 15 equals 4x plus 11. So I'm going to subtract 4x to get it on one side. 2x minus 15 equals 11. So I add 15 to both sides, and I get 2x equals 26. When I divide by 2, I get x equals 13. So that is not my final answer. Okay, we're wanting to find angle B. But to find angle B, I got to know what this is. So I'm going to get 4 times 13 plus 11. So that's 52 plus 11 is 63. Okay, so this is 63, which makes angle B supplementary to 63. Okay, so angle B equals whatever's left out of 180. So 180 minus 63, angle B is, what is that, 117. And there's angle B. Okay, so you got to kind of think about what supplementary means and things like that, but sometimes you're just going to have to find one first and then use that. Okay, so let's do one more here. Not that one, not that one. Let's do this one. Number 12. These two angles are not congruent. Remember, those are consecutive. So instead of setting these equal to each other, I'm actually going to add them together this time, equal to 180, because those are supplementary. Okay, so 3x plus 8x is 11x. 5 minus 12 is negative 7. And now we're ready to go. So add 7 to both sides. I get 11x equals 187. Divide by 11. I get x equals, let's see, what is that? Get 77, so 17. But again, that's not my final answer there. Okay, I got to plug it back in and then find r. Well, r is the same as p, remember? So all I have to do here is actually plug it back into p, because that's the same as r. So 3 times 17 plus 5. Okay, so 17 times 3, I forget what that is, so calculator, I get 51. 51 plus 5, and I get 56 degrees. And there we are. Okay, so those are the 4 properties we're going to have to really get used to. Okay, and then we'll talk about those diagonal angles as well in class. All right, peace.